hospice nurse, and yesterday, a dying patient, Mr. Henderson, chillingly described my newly acquired old Victorian house, detailing its unique features with frightening accuracy, right down to the ornate fireplace. He'd never met me before this admission, yet his ancient eyes held a disturbing, knowing glint as he spoke of the intricate mantelpiece, making cold dread immediately creep up my spine. I instantly realized this wasn't just a lucky guess or a confused elderly man. His words painted a picture too vivid, too precise to be anything but profoundly unsettling and deeply personal. He accurately talked about the peeling wallpaper in the upstairs hallway, a detail I'd only noticed last week, and then mentioned the distinct squeaky third step on the main staircase. He even described the faded floral pattern on the armchair tucked away in my secluded reading nook, a private sanctuary where I thought no one could possibly know anything about it. Then he leaned in closer, his voice a raspy whisper, asking with unsettling calm if the attic still contained that peculiar, rusty child's tricycle sitting silently in the far, dusty corner. My heart pounded furiously because I had literally discovered that very tricycle just 2 days prior while exploring the dark, forgotten space up there, completely alone, feeling utterly exposed. I desperately tried to dismiss it, attributing these specific details to sheer coincidence or perhaps a previous nurse who knew the house, but the uncanny accuracy was too much. He then spoke about the faint, lingering smell of lavender and old books near my bedroom window, which perfectly describes the unique scent of my inherited antique dresser positioned there. Later, he casually mentioned the chipped blue tile in the downstairs bathroom, a tiny detail I hadn't even registered until I got home and painstakingly inspected it, confirming his chilling accuracy again. That night, I couldn't sleep, picturing Mr. Henderson's knowing gaze as he described my home, a place he'd supposedly never seen, wondering how much more he terrifyingly knew about my private life. The quiet creaks of my house now sound less like old wood settling and more like unseen eyes watching from the profound shadows, making me question everything about my unsettling new home. As a hospice nurse, I've seen many strange things, but nothing compares to Mrs. Albright, who, despite never meeting me, perfectly recounted my secluded cabin's exterior last Tuesday afternoon. She vividly described the unusual leaning oak tree by the porch and the exact color of the faded blue paint on the shutters, details she absolutely couldn't have known through normal means. My blood ran cold when she mentioned the single broken window pane on the sunroom, something I had just been meaning to fix this past weekend, but completely forgotten to do. She continued describing the intricate moss pattern growing on the north side of the roof, a detail so specific I hadn't even consciously registered it myself until her words brought it forth. I tried to maintain my professional composure, but her eerie confidence made my hands shake slightly as I adjusted her IV, wondering if I was somehow hallucinating her words. Then she looked directly into my eyes and whispered about the hidden, overgrown stone path leading to the small creek behind my property, a path I thought only I knew existed. She added that the creek water always had a peculiar metallic taste, which was true, because I tried drinking it once as a child and remembered the strange flavor vividly. My rational mind struggled, searching for any explanation, but the sheer accuracy and obscure details pointed to something far beyond any logical understanding or simple coincidence with dread. She then shared a disturbing memory of the small, dark room downstairs, which I immediately recognized as the cramped, unfinished cellar where I stored old family keepsakes. Her voice grew fainter, yet distinct, as she described the rusted lock on the cellar door and the strange scratching sounds that occasionally emanate from within its unsettling depths at night. I finished my shift in a daze, driving home with a profound sense of unease, every shadow on the road seeming to hold Mrs. Albright's unsettling gaze as she watched me. Now, every creak and whisper inside my cabin feels like an echo of her voice, a chilling reminder that my private sanctuary holds secrets that are not entirely my own. My patient, old Mr. Miller, was barely lucid yesterday, but then he suddenly sat up, eyes wide, and started describing my apartment building's distinctive fire escape, including the bent railing. He accurately pinpointed the exact floor of my third-story unit and mentioned the specific crooked number plate on my front door, details I've never shared with anyone ever. My heart hammered as he then vividly described the faded abstract painting hanging above my living room couch, a unique piece I inherited and have always considered deeply personal. He even correctly identified the unusual scent of rosemary and old parchment that subtly permeates my study, which is precisely where I keep my collection of antique books and herbs. I tried to rationalize it as a lucky guess, but the sheer volume of precise, obscure details coming from a man who should barely know his own name was chilling. Mr. Miller then whispered about the shadow that sometimes stands by your kitchen window, and a cold shiver ran down my spine as I felt a presence there myself. He continued, describing the small porcelain doll with one missing eye that sits on my bookshelf, a childhood memento I thought was hidden away from prying eyes forever. I still can't shake the unsettling feeling that Mr. Miller wasn't simply recounting my home, but somehow, terrifyingly, he was also describing a dark, unseen watcher within its walls. Today, a new hospice patient, Eleanor Vance, lucidly described my isolated farmhouse, including the distinct weathered scarecrow standing silently in the north field, before I even introduced myself. She mentioned the specific rusty hinges on my back shed door and the faded no trespassing sign, details nobody outside my property should ever know, not even remotely. My blood ran cold when she accurately detailed the intricate pattern of cracks on the kitchen ceiling above my antique stove, a flaw I only just noticed last week. She then spoke about the faint, lingering smell of wood smoke and damp earth in the mudroom, perfectly describing the unique atmosphere of my old, rustic farmhouse entryway. I quickly tried to dismiss it, thinking perhaps she'd seen my address on a chart, but her specific, personal observations were too unnervingly precise to be coincidental, causing profound unease. Eleanor continued, mentioning the unsettling wind chimes on my porch that occasionally produce discordant, mournful sounds, which I've always attributed to the remote location's eerie atmosphere. She finally looked at me with an unsettlingly direct gaze and asked if he still hides in the abandoned well, referring to a local legend I had only recently discovered. Now, I can't shake the horrifying thought that Eleanor wasn't just describing my house, but revealing a dark, ancient secret that has been waiting patiently inside my property all along. During my rounds yesterday, Mr. Thorne, a patient known for his confusion, calmly recounted the intricate gargoyle perched above my front door, describing its specific chipped wing detail. He then perfectly described the peculiar spiral pattern on the doorknob of my study, a custom design I thought was unique to my house and completely unknown to anyone else. My hands grew clammy as he next mentioned the old, dusty portrait of a stern-faced woman in the upstairs hallway, a family heirloom that always gave me an unsettling feeling. He even whispered about the faint smell of forgotten roses and mothballs that sometimes wafts from the guest bedroom, a scent I always attributed to the room's lack of use.
I felt a growing, profound dread, unable to understand how a patient with severe memory issues could possess such disturbingly accurate and private details about my home without ever having been there. Then Mr. Thorne's voice dropped, becoming a chilling drone as he spoke of the cold spot in the basement near the old furnace, a detail I had only just noticed myself. He concluded by asking, "Does she still wait by the well at midnight?" referring to a forgotten local legend about a ghostly woman I had vaguely heard about as a child. Now, I hear every creak in my old house as a whisper from Mr. Thorne, and I wonder if he described my home or, eerily, the restless spirits that inhabit it with me.